guys, and welcome back to my channel, Thrift Nice. If you are new here, this is a channel all about finding things at yard sales, garage sales and estate sales and flipping them online for a profit. I make my living on eBay, Etsy, Poshmark and Mercari. And usually in my videos, I take you guys along with me to yard sales, garage sales, estate sales, all that kind of stuff, so that you can see me finding these kind of treasures in real time. But I also like to share with you what's sold in my store, so you can see these items come in full circle and you can see the kind of money that I'm making by selling them online. And that is exactly what this video is today. Sales update. So all of today's sales are actually going to be eBay sales, and stay tuned to the very end of the video because my last sale of the video is actually the biggest sale I've ever made online in all of my 8 years of reselling. It was a big one, it was really exciting, and I want you guys to be able to keep your eyes peeled in case you find one of those out in the world for yourself, because you're going to want to snag it if you do. All right, let's crack on. So I'm going to once again put the images right here so you can see the items as I'm chatting about them. You'll see what they look like, you'll see what my titles look like, and hopefully that will be helpful to somebody out there. All right, so item number one. This was a vintage Super Sidekick microphone for a CB radio. So I actually bought the CB radio as well. That was probably in my video from last week for my first yard sale of the season. So if you haven't seen that, make sure you go check that one out too. But I bought the actual CB radio, which I was not able to test. I bought the microphone as well. I have not listed the CB radio yet. I'm still deciding exactly what to do with it and still doing my research. But this microphone was really, really easy to look up online and to list. So I listed it for $74.99. I should say that I paid $10 total for the CB radio and the microphone. I listed the microphone for $74.99 plus shipping on eBay, and I got a best offer of $40, counted at $60, they declined, that was the end of it. So then it sat for about a week more, about 2 weeks or so at this point, and I got a new offer, and that was for $50, and I decided to go ahead and take that because I was selling it untested. I didn't have a way to test the microphone. It was an as-is sale, and I felt like that was very fair, plus a really good return on investment for my whole $10 investment for the radio and the microphone. And now if I decide to go ahead and sell the radio, then that is all pure profit from here on out. All right, next is this little beauty. This was a Pat Seacrest doll, I think. Yes, Pat Seacrest. So I paid $3 for this little lady at a yard sale, and the yard sale was from a doll collector. And so I got loads of different dolls. Almost everything has sold off at this point. I don't think I have any of those dolls left, but this was my last one standing, as it were. God, I hope she doesn't stand. So $3 into her. She was from the 90s. I made sure to include certain details in my title, like you want to do hair color, you want to do eye color. She had open mouth. That's something that I wanted to include. She may have had soft body. That would have been something that was included in the listing. These are just little details that you're going to want to pop in there so that collectors can see exactly what they're dealing with. $3 went into $50.99 on a best offer plus shipping. All right, next was a really good sale. So this item came with a huge collectibles buyout that I did last year. So he's been listed now for probably about 8 to 9 months. I've had loads of interest in him, just nobody has bitten the bullet yet, as it were. He was a 2004 Bandai, I believe, Astro Boy figure, and he was complete. Did have a few signs of play and wear, but he was complete with all his little rockets and stuff that were hidden, and all his arms and legs kind of would snap back and reveal different, I don't know, he was fun. But I paid about $3 for him in the full collectibles lot, and that $3 turned into $99.99 plus shipping. So if you see any Astro Boy items out there, you might want to take a closer look. Okay, next was a very recently purchased item. This was featured in one of my recent Thrift With Me videos. It was a vintage LL Bean, made in the USA, Nordic, Fair Isle, wool pullover sweater. It was a women's, it had really cool buttons. That was something that I enjoyed about it, kind of a Nordic style button to it. And it, like I said, it sold really quickly, probably in about sort of 1 to 2 weeks of being listed. So I paid $4 for it, and it sold for a best offer of $40 plus shipping. Next is a lot of Boyd's Bears inspired clothing. So I've been trying to do a lot more lots recently, especially as I'm working through my money pile or death pile, whatever you want to call it. Basically the pile of items from last year's yard sale season that I haven't listed yet. I'm trying to work through as much of that as possible before I go out and start with the new season, right? So if I've been able to lot things up to sell them faster and to have basically less work, less photos and stuff like that, that's exactly what I've been doing. So this was a lot of all size medium Boyd's Bears clothing. I think there was maybe 4 t-shirts and 1 cardigan. I just threw them all together, took a photo, and that was that. And it actually sold in a week. So Maybe it's a little bit of a bolo if you find it cheap enough and you find it en masse. I don't know. I paid $1 per piece, so I had $5 total in this lot, and it sold for $45 plus shipping. And like I said, in like a week, so nice and quick. All right, next, another good sale, another item I would absolutely pick up again. So this was Hawthorne Village, which was Bradford Exchange. At least that's what all the stickers on the bottom of it was. And it was a Coca-Cola, like, you know, like a Christmas village. It was like a Coca-Cola version of that, and it had like a house that lit up, and it had horses and carts and all kinds of cool stuff going on. I paid somewhere between $5 and $10 for this. It may have been $10 because it was a bigger set. I can't quite remember. But it sold for $99.99 plus the shipping as well. And I will say, like, when I'm filming this and from when it sold, we're in March now. So you don't always have to wait to like list all your Christmas things before Christmas. Christmas items, Halloween items, all that kind of stuff still sell year round for me. So if there's anything that you are procrastinating on listing because you think there's no point, there is. Get to it. But yeah, I've done really well on a lot of these Bradford Exchange pieces. I bought absolutely loads from this yard sale, and almost all of them. I think I maybe have one piece left that's to sell, and a lot of them went in that sort of like $75 to $100 range when they sold. So even though they're kind of a pain to like package up and to ship, I have to say it wasn't the easiest thing in the world. It's still worth it to me to 10x my money. All right, next, a salt and pepper shaker, obviously, but I'm highlighting this because it was a really good sale. It only cost me $1 at a yard sale, and the brand was Wilton Armital. I don't know how to say it. You can probably see it in the title right there. And it was the Reggae salt and pepper shaker. I'm not sure if the plate actually went with it at this point, but I put it all together as a lot and advertised it that way. Like I said, it only cost me $1 and it sold for $44.99. For a salt and pepper shaker set, I love it. As you can imagine, easy to store, easy to photograph, easy to ship. Can't complain. Those are the kind of sales that I absolutely love. All right, we actually have another one of these Bradford Exchange pieces. This was a Thomas Kincaid piece. This was from the exact same yard sale that the Coca-Cola one I just showed you came from. This was another $10 purchase. It was called All Aboard for Holiday Cheer, and I did test it. It did work. It had Santa in the middle and then a train that went around the outside. Again, not the most fun thing to ship in the entire world, but they did have their like their styrofoam things that fit to their shape. You know what I'm talking about. What you would store them in, but it made it a lot easier to be able to ship them safely. So again, $10 for this, and this one again sold for $100 plus shipping. And again, we're in March. Christmas item, they still sell. All right, next is a Mario Wii Controller. I'm pretty sure that all of us will find one of these out on our travels at some point at yard sales. I paid $1 for this. It did have the wrist strap and it did have the silicone covering. Now, not all Wii controllers are made the same, but the ones that are themed can do pretty well. And this particular Mario one sold for $30. So $1 into 30. I did take a photograph of it turned on so you could see that the power light was on. You could see that it responded to batteries, all that kind of stuff, just so my buyer could feel a little more secure that it was tested and working. All right, and my final item, the best sale I've ever had online, which definitely scared me, and I was holding my breath until I got positive feedback, which I have now, and so I feel a bit more secure in sharing this with you guys. It was a Jvc Boombox. This was an impulse purchase from the same yard sale I got that doll I showed you earlier. There was so much of this yard sale that was absolutely amazing. I filled my entire car, and right as I was coming to the end of shopping, I spotted this boombox in the corner that was playing music. And I asked them, are you selling that? They actually were not sure if they were selling it or if it was just their source of music for the day. So they went off and had a chat, and they came back and they said they'd be willing to let it go for $25. Well, I was already at $75 for everything I was purchasing. I figured, why not make it $100? I took it home and then I procrastinated for like a really long time. I think I was intimidated about testing it, about researching it, about shipping it. I don't know what I was thinking. I just kind of let it sit in the corner for a while. And eventually I figured, you know what, you've got to do this. And so when I started researching it, I realized that it was actually really rare and really sought after. In fact, if it had been in perfect condition, I could have got about $1,000 for that. $1,000 for a boombox. Like, what? Now, this one was not in perfect condition. It did have the aerial that was like, you know, in one piece, like that was all good. The radio worked fine. I did a video to show everybody this. But when I went to play music as in a cassette, it actually, the sound didn't come out. I believe that all it was is that it needed needed like a new belt or whatever on the tape player. Like, I don't think it was necessarily a big deal, but I had to sell it acknowledging that that part just didn't work right now. Again, I highlighted it in my listing, I highlighted it in my videos demo to the buyer so they could see exactly what was going wrong with it and that it wasn't producing sound from the cassette. And I decided the best way to go was to do it on an auction. So I started my auction at $500 plus shipping. And I had watches like immediately. I was posting on my Facebook group, which by the way, if you haven't joined yet, you totally should. It's a great place for new resellers and ask all your questions. It's Thrift Nice and it's linked down below. But I was sharing that with the people on there like, oh, look how many watches. Oh, the bids are going up, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, it ended up selling for $611 plus the shipping, with multiple bids. I think almost 50 watches by the end of it. Again, maybe I could have squeezed a little bit more money out of it, but I was very comfortable doing it this way considering I couldn't get it to work fully myself. And the fact that I have a happy, satisfied buyer that's already left me positive feedback, well, that is worth its weight in gold. So if you come across any vintage boomboxes out there, please stop and look them up by the model number, because you never know if you might have treasure on your hands. All right, you guys, that'll do it for today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and hit that like button and tell me and YouTube that you rather like this kind of content. Brace yourselves, yard sales are coming. If you want to come along with me, don't forget to hit the bell as well so you never miss a video. I cannot wait to go picking again with you guys this spring and summer. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.